Hi, I'm Liz. Thank you for joining me. Today's video is going to be all about the squat. So previous videos I've done of certain moves are the deadlift, the push-up, the kettlebell swing. A few of my favorite moves, and we're going to do the squat today. So really important that we can move in this way. It's a natural way that the body moves. So it's a fundamental movement pattern. And it's something that we can usually do quite well as children. You look at young kids, they tend to just be able to squat right down, kind of that ass to grass kind of position. And it looks really good. And then as we get older, it's something that we start to lose just from, things like wearing shoes, posture, sitting at desks, and all the things that life has to offer. Aria is a really good squatter. So I'm going to do this body weight today. There's lots of different variations of the squat, and when you go through this video, just pay attention if you are going to follow along with the techniques, if it feels right in your body. So we've all got different length legs, so our femurs, which is the big bone at the top, our tibias at the bottom of the leg, and that is going to affect the way that you squat. It's going to affect the position that your feet need to be in. So I'm going to go through just some basic kind of technique cues that I would use. And then it's kind of up to you whether that feels good in your body. You might think, oh no, I feel like I need to be out wider, or it feels better if my feet are a little bit narrower. So it's kind of going from there and working with it with your own body. This is something that I do with people before I start doing personal training with them. It's just a move that I would get them to do just to see how they would naturally do it without me giving them any cues. And then that kind of gives me an idea of how they move. Am I wanting to add load to that in the session, or do we need to kind of work on a few things? So the squat, I'm just going to go through it just from start to finish. So generally, feet just a little bit wider than the hips, toes slightly pointing out. We start with the chest lifted, so standing up nice and tall. The butt presses back and down. So from the front, butt comes back and down. The knees go the same direction as the toes. And then from the bottom, we stand up, hips come all the way through. So from the side, so finding that same position with the feet, looking forward, butt goes back and down, knees press out, the chest stays lifted, pressing down through the heels to come all the way to standing. So as we're sitting back and down, going through hip flexion, knee flexion, ankle flexion, and then as we're coming up, extending through those joints, coming all the way to standing. It's not something that you have to remember, that is just what's happening. It's more just about what's happening within your body. So standing nice and tall. You can even just sort of practice here. We do this with the deadlift move, but it's slightly different. So we're not hinging from the hip with the squat, we're flexing and sitting back and down. So just to kind of show you the difference here, this would be me hinging from the hip, coming into a deadlift position, and then driving through. So you can see the difference here. The spine stays long, and the only thing that moves here is the hips. The knees will just soften at the bottom of the move. With the squat, it kind of starts the same. So the butt presses back, but then there's more knee bend, and we sit down into it. So you kind of imagine that you're sitting down on a chair, on a toilet. Again, it's a natural move that we do every day. So we want to be strong in that move, and we want to be able to do it well. So feet positioning, again, just outside the hips, toes slightly point out, chest is up, sit back down. Weight is going to be mainly through the heels, but we've still got a little bit of pressure through the outside of the foot and the ball of the foot as well. As you stand up, think about pressing down through the heels, so you can start to squeeze your butt from the bottom of the move. So from the side again, sitting the butt back and down, the knees press out, press down through the heels, start to squeeze through the butt, drive the hips all the way through. So we're kind of getting that full range, and you don't have to worry about coming down into this kind of ass to grass kind of squat. This is a really great position if you can do it. Again, it's a natural position on the body. It's something that we lose as we age, we lose mobility. But if you can do this, I recommend doing it. But with a squat, we can get down, but that in line with knees, maybe a little bit lower, and then driving up. More about the engagement of the muscles throughout the move. Aria's chasing her tail. You're so good at that. You're so good. You should come and do it on the camera. Okay, so that was more of like a, we'll call it a narrow kind of squat. That targets a lot more through the quadriceps as well and the glutes. That might not work for you though. So you may feel like it's better, and I've got a few clients who it just naturally feels better for them to squat wider. So that's what we do. Again, the toes are gonna point out, knees are gonna follow the toes, the butt presses back. So this is a wider squat stance. This might feel a lot better for you. It might not feel better. So again, just finding what works. Lots of different variations of the squat, as I have mentioned. This is body weight squat. There's so many ways that you can change this up and make it more challenging before you even think about adding a weight. So the tempo, you can slow it down. Maybe you hold at the bottom for a little bit, really slow to the top. You might go quick and then slow, slow, and then quick. Really, again, focusing on squeezing through the butt, driving down through the heels, staying engaged through the core and lifted with the chest. So we don't want to be doing this kind of thing, pressing back and kind of leaning forward like that. So if that's happening, just kind of work it so you've still got the chest lifted, and then start to find that range of motion. Lots of different ways again. So we can load it up with a weight plate, can load it up with kettlebells, barbells, so many different ways that you can do this move. It's a fantastic move to learn. Great way to strengthen your lower body, your core. You're still working through the back as well, having to engage everything to keep everything nice and lifted. So a great move to learn to do it well. So we move often, we feel better, we get stronger, and that makes life that little bit better. If you have any questions about the squat, it's kind of just a short video. There's so many ways that you can go about that and so many things to talk about. It's kind of just the basic kind of fundamentals of the squat. If you have any more questions, please reach out, and I will see you next time.